But Coach Krista, what about a leotard pattern? I'm gonna show you the easiest way to create your own leotard pattern. Don't worry, I'm gonna show you 3 ways to get that perfect leotard pattern. The first way would be Google. Coach Krista, Google? Yes, yep. The most obvious one. But there are a few good options. You just have to find the one that's good for you. And I'll be honest, it took me 3 tries to get my patterns for my business the way I wanted them. And don't be afraid to manipulate your pattern the way you want it. My second option would be Etsy. There are some great patterns on Etsy, and there's great people on Etsy too. However, Etsy itself, I am not very fond of. That's another story for a different day. But yes, that is an option. And the third option would be to create your own pattern. Stop, don't freak out. Don't freak out. I'm gonna show you the easiest way to create your own leotard pattern.
Here's what you will need. An old leotard that fits you well, but you're okay with taking apart, aka seam ripping. And of course, a seam ripper, pattern paper, and paper scissors. Go ahead and grab your leotard because we're gonna take this whole thing apart. With your seam ripper, you're going to first take out the top stitching, and then you're going to take out the elastic. For this cover stitch, there are 2 stitches that you need to take out. That one that I just did, the one closest to the edge, and then there's another line of stitches behind that one. And sometimes when you seam rip it a certain way, the 3rd stitch will unravel so nicely. It happens right here for just a little bit. You'll want to do this to the arms, legs, and neck. But for time's sake, I'm gonna go ahead and show you the elastic part. And unfortunately, with the elastic, there's no easy unravel way to make this go faster. Again, you'll want to do this to the legs, neck, and arms. If you don't want to put this leotard back together again, it doesn't really matter if you accidentally seam rip the leotard, but if you do, just try and be careful not to, and check out my video on how to make a leotard so that you can put it back together again. Now that we're finished with that part, you want to seam rip the shoulders, the side seam, and the crotch. Next, grab your paper. I have some linked below, or really you can just put newspaper together or computer paper. Grab your front or your back and lay it flat. Ooh, that rhymed. And you're just gonna trace it. And you don't need to add a seam allowance because we took it apart. It already has the seam allowance. And then do it with the other piece and you're done.
Let me know if you give this a try, and don't forget, subscribe. Bye. Oh, I'm so annoying.